So that was an Allegro, number 24 from Giuliani's Op.50. Follow lesson for free. We'll be talking about some of the technique and the texture involved in this piece that you can apply to other pieces as well. But if you're interested, I do have an edition of all 32 works in Giuliani's Op.50, and there's a link for that in the description. So in this particular piece, there's some changing textures that we need to talk about. In general, because the tempo is fast, the piece becomes a little bit difficult. But at a slower tempo, the piece is not too tricky. There's a little bit of right hand fingering to discuss at the beginning, but let's first just talk about the musical texture here. So although we are mixing arpeggios and melodies and melodic material all together here, there is kind of like a melody you do kind of want to bring out, at the beginning. However you want to make of those arpeggio figures there. But certainly it should be brought out as as a melody. And although there's so much activity surrounding that and so much bass resonance, you do want to have your ear kind of focused on that little line. So you can practice that on its own or just make sure that you're working on the texture in that way. Down at bar 9, it does change. So you want this to really sing out while your thumb is, moving away at that faster tempo. But let's talk about the right hand fingering at the very beginning a little bit, and then we'll just do a walkthrough of the piece. So I'm doing I, P, and M. So you want this kind, the birdie bass figure to happen there. So I, M, I, P, I, M, I, A, I, M, I, P, I. So you can apply that throughout the piece there. Once you have that fingering down, the only other one I would suggest and that one's in my sheet music. The only other one I would suggest is at bar 4, I would start with I, M, and then A. The rest of the piece is pretty straightforward in all these textures. You can just repeat fingers. And get through it in that way. And then at the return at bar 17, you end up doing the same thing. So let's just do a little walkthrough of the piece. It's quite a long bar chord here. But nice and easy because it's only 4 strings and you just hold it through that entire first 2 measures. In terms of the balance and the texture, just try to keep this stuff a little suppressed while bringing the top line out if you can. So there again, I, M, followed by A, and then just alternate I, M. Try to keep the thumb as smooth as possible and suppressed, so it doesn't sound too like a machine gun fire, but it's just like an undercurrent, right? So there I'm doing 3, 4, 1, I'm doing 2, 3, sliding the 3 up. Really find a great fingering for this, so I just decided to just slide these fingers down, which actually works quite well. And I do that because then 1 is available for the G sharp there. 1. So just use that sliding second finger and third finger. I do quite the writ and fermata just because it sets up the return of the opening. pretty hard to get the clearance in the last chords here. You know, it's really easy to like get a buzz or something like that. So I'm actually kind of like bringing my knuckle in and hoisting it up a little bit into kind of a slightly irregular bar chord. You just have to make sure that you haven't gotten lazy with your guitar posture. Have the neck pretty upright there so you have lots of clearance for that last shape. I have really small hands, so I need to make sure that I have the clearance there, or I will clip a string with my finger. So it depends on your body and your technique. And then I'm getting the last two, the bottom strings with my thumb. And you could roll the chord if you like. So yeah, it's really just the tempo in this piece that makes the work a little bit more challenging. But besides that, you know, somewhat straightforward. And as long as you have some of the right hand fingering worked out at the very beginning, and then just make sure that a couple of those spots that you're clear about your technique and your clearance, then it'll be good.